You'll now notice that the proposed schedule and schedule options no longer have warning messages and that their buttons are now available to click. Let's click the Proposed Schedule button to go to the Proposed Schedule screen. Once again, you'll notice the guidelines message. Check the Don't Show This message in this Screen Again box and click OK, or just click OK. At this point, the schedule in this screen will automatically generate a best-case scenario schedule for the year. In our particular example, you'll also see a message appear that explains that the schedule automatically excluded a service because we listed it at 0 hours in the average hours screen. You'll also see this service highlighted in the table at the top left corner of the screen. After you read this message, click OK. Now let's review the schedule from left to right. The first column is the number of cases scheduled for each service, with the total shown in the heading. The next 12 columns are obviously the schedule's months in the year. If you want to change the schedule's year, click on the first month and select a different beginning month from the drop-down list. The rest of the months will populate accordingly. For our example, I will keep the beginning month at July 2020. The earnings column is a calculation of the service's rate times the number of cases scheduled. The total cost based on worker rate is the total hours scheduled for the year times the worker rate, which was calculated in the worker info screen and is also listed here in this heading. The profit loss based on worker rate is simply the earnings minus the total cost based on worker rate. Before I explain the remaining columns, it's important to show the next feature. Under the annual workload heading, it currently says affiliate hours. If you click that, you will change it to statewide hours, and the schedule will recalculate using the statewide average hours instead of our affiliates average hours. The difference between the statewide versus the affiliate average hours is shown in the table in the top left corner of the screen. The hours in the affiliate hours section come directly from what we entered in the average hours screen. So back to the estimated hours column. This column is calculated by taking the service's number of cases times the service's average hours. Which average hours? Whichever one is selected under the annual workload heading. So if affiliate hours is currently selected, the calculation will use the average hours from the affiliate section of the table. In this case, statewide hours is selected. Therefore, it uses the average hours in the statewide section. The total hours column is simply the total hours scheduled throughout the year. The hours per unit of service is the service's total hours divided by the number of cases. If you scroll down farther, you'll see the quarterly workload section. Let me collapse the navigation menu so we can see the entire section. This shows the same information as the annual workload section, but as a quarter-by-quarter breakdown. Back in the annual workload section, you can exclude services if you don't want the proposed schedule to schedule hours for a particular service, possibly because your affiliate doesn't currently offer that service. Click the Exclude Services button. A window will appear where you can select one or more services and click Exclude. You're now back to the proposed schedule screen where it regenerated the schedule without those services that you just excluded. If you've excluded services that you want to include back in, click the Include Services button. A window will appear with a list of the services that are currently excluded. Notice, however, that the child-specific recruitment is not in this list. That is the service that was automatically excluded because we listed it as 0 average hours in the average hours screen. So we can't include this service unless we go back to the average hours screen and change its average hours to something other than 0. Select one or more services to include back in and click Include. You're now back to the proposed schedule screen where it regenerated the schedule with the services you just included. If you want to reset the proposed schedule completely, click the Reset Schedule button. Now let's go to the schedule screen. Click the Go to Schedule button.